Welcome to History with Master Squishies. In today's video, we'll be covering the history of the Sd.Kfz.222. We'll be going over who made it, the design, what nations used it, some of the battles it took place in, and how it performs in-game. To start, the Sd.Kfz.222 was a German light armored scout car designed by Eisenwerk Versenhut. It was designed as a light armored scout car for infantry support and reconnaissance. It was designed in 1936 and was produced in 1937 to 1943 by Horsch Auto Union and Tschicka Werk, with around 990 cars made. The Sd.Kfz.222 was made to replace the Sd.Kfz.221, which suffered from being too lightly armored, but the 221 and the 222 remained in service until the end of the war to fulfill certain tasks. Some of the improvements made to the 222 was an increase of armor from 8mm to 14.5mm. The main gun was also replaced with a 2cm KWK 30 L/55 autocannon, and a better wire mesh anti-grenade canopy was added. In 1942, it got another upgrade, with the KWK 30 being replaced with the 20mm KWK 38. In the Western Front and territory occupation in urban environments, it performed well. However, in the African Campaign and the Eastern Front, its shortcomings were very noticeable and was slowly replaced in its reconnaissance role by the Sd.Kfz.250. The Sd.Kfz.222 was equipped with a single turret mounted with a 2cm KWK 30 L55 autocannon in 1937 to 1941 and a 20mm KWK 38 in 1942 to 1945, with an MG34 machine gun as a secondary on both models. It had a maximum of 14.5mm of armor and a minimum of 5mm of armor. It had a crew of 3, a weight of 4.4 tons, a length of 4.8 meters or 15.9 feet, a width of 1.95 meters or 6.5 feet, and a height of 1.7 meters or 5.7 feet. It also had an on-road speed of 50 miles per hour and an off-road speed of 25 miles per hour. Next, we'll move to its operational history. The operational history is short due to there not being much documented on the car itself. From what I did find though, the Sd.Kfz.222 was a heavily used German scout car, but it was also used by Romania, Bulgaria, and China. In German use, it saw combat on the Western Front, the African Campaign, and the Eastern Front. However, there isn't any specific battles that it took place in since it was so widely used. In China, I can't find the exact number, but what I have found is somewhere between 15 and 60 cars were sent to China. Within that number consisted 221s, 222s, 223s, and 260s. Finally, we'll move on to how it performs in War Thunder versus how it performed historically. The Sd.Kfz.222 in War Thunder appears to be the 1942 variant, but it does have a few mistakes that I noticed. To start, the maximum armor is 30mm, which I can't find any documentation on the 1942 upgrades, increasing its armor since that would put more work into production, and it would have the older models, ideally, refitted with the new armor increases. Its minimum armor is also off, with it being 8mm instead of 5mm. The speed is 55 miles per hour instead of 50 miles per hour, and it doesn't seem to suffer a speed reduction when it's on poor terrain. The main gun is right for the 1942 variant, with that being a 20mm 38 KWK autocannon, and the machine gun is also right, with it being an MG34. I can't find any specifics on the ammos that they would have used, but from what I've researched, the AP and HE ammo would be the most common, with potentially the HV AP if they were on an armor hunting mission. War Thunder gives you the option to choose from any of those three. All in all, I think the Sd.Kfz.222 needs to be refined a little with the armor to make it what it was, instead of giving it numbers that don't seem to have existed anywhere. or at least wasn't the standard. Lastly, I think it should have a minor speed reduction on ground that isn't compacted, paved, or well maintained. That would bring some of the struggles of the 222 to light. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, squish that like button, subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear about next. I'll see you in the next one.